Kyrie Irving is staying in Dallas, but before you hate on this deal, the Mavs had no choice. He gets less than a max contract at 3 years, $126 million, with a player option in year 3. If they did not sign Kyrie, they replace him with nothing. They lost Jalen Brunson last offseason. Missing out on your second best player 2 years in a row kills a franchise. Look, the Mavs were not good with Kyrie and Luka. They tried and missed the playoffs, but they traded players and picks to re-sign him, not a 3-month rental. We are waiting on news about Damian Lillard, but it is a great sign for him staying that Jeremy Grant got paid. Dude got 5 years, $160 million, the biggest payday in free agency. Portland and Dame met, saying they are serious about building a winner around him, and this is a huge piece. Now, they could still trade Grant at a later date, but it was also big that Draymond Green is a warrior for life. We also had big-time guys flipping teams that changes everything. But Draymond was obviously going to stay once they got rid of Jordan Poole. Poole got overpaid after the punch, but the Dubs chose Dre. Now they try to win one more chip in Steph Curry's late prime with Chris Paul. But Chris Middleton went back to the Bucks on a huge pay cut. Dude went from $40 million a year all the way down to $25 million. He agreed to a 3-year, $102 million deal. I think Chris could have gone to a team like the Rockets or the Spurs with cap space for more, but this shows huge loyalty to Giannis and the Bucks. Now they can make other moves to show the 2021 chip was not a fluke. But let's talk about the guys that did flip teams, like Bruce Brown. But first, over on my personal channel, I showed you guys how I cut down for the first time in my life. Now I'm bulking up. I've been lifting weights for years, but I learned it's all about the food. And the big game changer for me was when I found a meal service that I love, like Factor, who is sponsoring today's video. I hate cooking, actually, and it gets in the way of me making the right decision every single day. So Factor's meals are pre-prepared, they're ready in under 2 minutes, and they taste delicious. Like, it's not diet food. Like, I needed to find food that I actually loved that I could eat year round. Now, the big key is to find out what your calories and your macros are so that you can hit your goal. So you go on Factor's website and you just pick meals that fit your numbers. Plans range from 4 to 18 meals per week. I'm an 18 meal guy, but you can customize the number whatever you want, and you can easily skip weeks, like if you go on vacation. I will link my full video on how I got into shape at the end of this video, but I'm telling you, the number one thing is Factor, and they're giving us 50% off our first box. You just go to factor75.com and enter the promo code AMHOOPS50. 50% off. Thanks again to Factor. The Nuggets really wanted him to stay. Key to their defense, their coach even got drunk and tried to blackmail him.
Yo, tell me, is Brucey B going anywhere? Hell no. Hell no. Hell no.
But he flipped to the Pacers, and you can't blame him. Got 2 years, $45 million from Indy. Way more than Denver could offer. Dude got his chip, then he got his chips. That is also, by the way, a huge loss for the Lakers, who wanted to sign him as well. But they did get Gabe Vincent, who was a great shooter for the Heat in the playoffs. This is horrible for them unless this motivates them extra to get Damian Lillard, if he's even leaving. The biggest overpay is Fred VanVleet to Houston on a 3-year max deal. People will be asking, why is Fred VanVleet a max player a year from now? But he brings leadership and a position of need for the young Rockets. So here's a look at all of the big, notable contracts given out so far. Kyle Kuzma, $102 million to stay with the Wizards. Cam Johnson, $108 million to return to the Nets. The highlighted guys here are the ones that switch teams. But the league-altering move is what happens to James Harden. He is melting down in front of our eyes. Reports say Harden is furious with the Sixers, so he demanded a trade. Dude feels like they betrayed him. Last offseason, Harden declined a $47.4 million option to sign for $15 million less. With that discount, Philly added PJ Tucker and DeAnthony Melton. Maybe a secret deal to pay Harden the max this summer, but they went back on it after he disappointed in the playoffs. Yes, he hit big shots, but in the most important games, Harden was horrible. Game 7, 9 points and 5 turnovers. Philly was like, yeah, about that secret deal. Not anymore. They told Harden, why don't you go see what other people will pay you, then we'll make a deal. Basically, we're not gonna pay you more than you're worth. So Harden was pissed. He called up the Rockets, who everyone thought was gonna sign him to a max. But they hired Ime Udoka, and Jalen Green went on Paul George's podcast. PG said, I would hate playing with Harden if I were you. He's ball dominant, he would stunt your growth. And what did Jalen say?
You know what I mean?
No, I agree. I think it play both ways, like you just said. Like it could help and hurt at the same time.
Oh, Harden was pissed to hear him say that. So Houston apparently said, actually, we don't want you anymore. We are happy with our young roster. So Harden calls up his old teammate Kevin Durant in Phoenix. KD and Devin Booker were actually excited to have James Harden as point guard. But the Sixers were slow to engage in talks before the Bradley Beal trade got done. Everything is melting down for James Harden. But honestly, I get it. He's amazing in the regular season, but if you want to win titles, he's not the guy. So only desperate teams will do this trade. I don't expect it to happen fast because the Philly GM, Daryl Morey, will wait for a good deal. I mean, he is the guy who let Ben Simmons sit an entire year before getting a decent offer from Brooklyn. But at the same time, he knows what angry Harden is like. Morey was the GM in Houston when Fat Harden showed up late to camp. He saw him quit mid-game as a Brooklyn Net. So where does Harden end up? Well, the biggest rumor is the LA Clippers. It's where Harden wants to go, and reports say Kawhi and PG are excited. They have always lacked a true point guard to set things up, and you don't have to depend on Harden as the main option in the playoffs. LA's preferred trade is James Harden for Norman Powell and Marcus Morris Sr. You add 2 quality role players around Embiid, but Philly doesn't want that. Embiid needs another star. What Philly wants is Harden for Kawhi Leonard and Jaden Springer for salary. This reunites Kawhi with coach Nick Nurse, who won a title together in Toronto. Embiid and Kawhi would be an amazing big two if they could stay healthy. Or they could deal Paul George. The only reason this is possible is Kawhi and PG are not going to get max extensions in LA, which could upset them. Or Philly could go on the offense for Damian Lillard. They package James Harden, DeAnthony Melton, Tyrese Maxey, and the 2030 first round pick. Portland then flips that for another player, or they keep Maxey, who's a future All-Star. But if it doesn't work out, Joel Embiid could end up demanding a trade as soon as next offseason. But Philly just declined to give Tyrese Maxey a new contract. Why did they do that with a young guy who's a future All-Star? Because if they let James Harden go for 1-year contracts or he plays out this option, then next summer Tobias Harris's money comes off the books, and if they let Maxey go, Philly would have room for 2 max free agents to sign around Embiid. A lot of exciting stuff is yet to happen, but it's all under the umbrella of the new CBA. All of the NBA rules just changed, and it could kill super teams. So I made a video breaking down exactly how these new rules work. Check it out.